burned it over in the mayor's yard. Beat my brother-in-law half to death. Lost $20 on his football bet. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys.
Hey, good morning, good old boy.
Good morning to you, sir. Welcome to the South Texas TV studios. I am your host, Brent Carter. It's my partner, Ash Wade.
I'm your other host.
He's really the host with the most. I'm more of the Laura Petrie to his Dick Van Dyke. Oh, Rob. Remember that?
Barely. I'm not as old as you.
I can remember being like 8 years old and going, I don't know, if I was Dick, I'd probably be over there in that other bed with Laura.
Could never show that. That was the weirdest thing. You couldn't be in the same
their pajamas.
Bed. Brady Bunch was, I think, the first that showed married couple in the same bed.
Well, that's because he was gay.
Well, yeah, nothing was happening there.
Yeah, nothing was happening there. They brought their six with them.
But that was, yeah, you couldn't show. What was the seriously, what was the reasoning behind that? Everybody knew mom and dad slept in the same bed except on TV.
You just couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Remember
even the Flintstones.
Ricky and Lucy.
Wow, that was a whole other dynamic there. Interracial marriage on TV in the 50s and 60s. That
Huge
just didn't
deal,
happen.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of course, you know he started in the United States military. He was Cuban.
Yeah.
At a time when America wasn't quite as anti-Cuba. Interesting.
Yeah, and now we're finding out that, geez, our Cuban Americans might be the most loyal Americans. Some of the most loyal Americans we have.
Well, they lived through the oppression of the regime. You know, they lived through their parents, told them stories. And I've heard that right now in the bigger cities in Cuba that there's a shortage of food and basically the communists have abandoned them.
Remember the story that Dr. Reguera told when he came on our show?
Yes.
And
what a great segment that was, too.
Yeah, that's still one of my favorite shows.
He got so emotional just sharing about his childhood. And, man, they bought him a ticket. They got him to Spain. Then he had to get over here. Then he had to go to school.
At 15, not knowing where his parents were, Dad was jailed a couple times. I mean, and that was the big reason DeSantis won so big this last election.
The Cuban
population that had teetered and lean Democrat said, you know what? This ain't the way we're liking it.
Amen.
Speaking of the way we're liking it, it's going to be hot. If you like it hot, it's going to be really hot. The weather brought to you by the fine folks at AT Deer Lemon Hay Feed and Ranch Services. Stop on by a little store on Water Street. They've got everything you need.
82 degrees in Victoria right now. 97 here in the Tower of Power, South Texas TV studio.
That's in our.
We're like in an air fryer.
Good analogy.
Temperature today going to 102. And I don't know
heat index will feel like a 115.
Is the heat index
crazy
when they factor in humidity and the way it feels?
Yeah.
Do we buy that? It's hot. And none of you are going to stay outside long enough to go, well, it feels 115 to me, love.
I did yesterday. I had to fix a whole bunch of fence yesterday. But you know what?
So you need to call Ryan Hopping.
I know. I should have. Well,
Crossroads.
But, yeah.
Fence and cleaning. Let him come out and take care of you.
He'll get a call. But no,
because your fence is probably doing like that.
It was not anymore.
You
straightened it all up. Got the barbed wire all set up because we had a calf a couple weeks ago and it wasn't doing well, and we had to supplement with a bottle feed for a little bit because mom wasn't producing enough milk and such. So now that they're doing better, we let them out of the pen yesterday, but I had to make sure the fence was all good where it needed to be.
You wondered why you got such a good deal on that heifer.
That's exactly it.
Right. Some old farmer walked out there. He had one of those little sticks where he moves them along. He went, oh, that one's got some bad teats. Seller.
You ever been zapped with one of those cattle prods?
Oh, the bee will get you.
Have you ever been zapped with one?
Yeah. Somebody comes at you with one of those two-prong things, and what it does really is it'll scare you more than it hurts you. You're like, whoa, what was that?
Made my knee buckle when I got it in the back of the leg one time.
Who did that to you?
It was in high school that shall remain nameless. don't want to
Was it
incriminate
a
them. They're
hockey hazing incident?
No, it was not a hockey hazing incident. It was just, I think it was at a party at J Dub's.
Oh, that's nice. J Dub.
But the person that did it's now a fine, upstanding citizen. So
I'm sure
we won't deal with that.
And you probably had it coming.
I was just walking down the stairs. It's all.
Sure.
Roll call this morning, Roy Gutierrez. Good morning, Will Vincent. You gotta like Will. Will's on vacation. He's up early.
Good morning, Will.
Appreciate it, Will.
Gutierrez also joins us. Good morning,
Bobby
Will.
Leister. The Iceman is in. Scott Tomko, Marvin Mickish, Lisa Poole, Jordan Glass, Junior Samples, Ricky King, Judge Posey, Stephanie Conti, Cody Bauman.
Hello,
Stephen
Cody. Hello,
Kidder,
Judge.
Jonathan Williams,
Counselor.
Patricia Nagel. Good morning.
What is Steve Kidder talking about?
Congratulations, UHV alumnus going to the Chiefs. I don't know. This is news to me, but
I don't know.
I was busy yesterday.
That UHV football program.
Yeah,
doing great.
Got our first player in the majors.
Patricia Nagel checks in.
Karen Murray. Jonathan Williams had troubles finding this yesterday. That was all me. I accidentally posted this show yesterday on Brent's personal Facebook page rather than the Wade & Carter page, and that has been rectified this morning, thankfully.
I'm now
I paid attention.
Immensely popular on Facebook.
I paid attention to where I had to go live this morning.
Astros update brought to you by the great folks at First State Bank Louise. They're located right there at the corner of Salem and John Stockbauer. The friendliest bank anywhere. Walk in and tell Lolly. Say, hey, Wade & Carter sent me. I don't even know what I need, but I need an account here.
You need a business loans and get some
free.
AC going.
It's free. Go in there and get you a business loan. Yeah, you could probably take out a business loan to put air conditioning in this building. That would be incredible.
Wouldn't it?
We know a guy. We know a gal. We know people. Get over there to First State Bank Louise. I'm stretching this out with the compliments to the great loan rates they've got currently, 4% annualized on a 7-month CD with a $50,000 minimum. Hard to earn more than that. You can make 5% places, but you got to tie up your money for a whole year. This is just 7 months. Get your money back or roll it in. Keep it rolling. Never can tell, but between now and then, the rates may go up.
You'd have your money out by Christmas.
Astros dropped one last night. Mailed it in early, 11-1.
Well, I kind of alluded to it yesterday. If you're going to lose one game to the Mets, it's probably the one Scherzer's throwing.
Well, he's incredible, and our man Hunter Brown, we all know this to be true.
He has struggled as of late.
Well, even the great ones, even people like Verlander, they struggle from time to time. Verlander struggled a lot with giving up the long ball early in the games, and Hunter Brown walked in yesterday and just gave up 5 runs in the third, and he walked off the mound. And he's big league players getting paid big league money. I don't feel sorry for him, okay? But as he walked off the mound, Ash, he just had his head down, and he was just shaking his head because he knows what we don't know. He knows that, yeah, that slider stayed up a little bit, and, yeah, that fastball was right over the middle of the plate when I meant to throw it inside. He just didn't have his stuff. So I'm going to be curious as time goes on. I do like to study the game. I do like to watch people and their development. And I have shared with you in the past in the nuanced world of pitching. Verlander, when he was just young and overpowering, when he would start his windup, folks, he would just kind of bring his hand down. He would just kind of have this really almost ballet-like separation of glove and hand as his, ta-da, I'm about to throw a pitch. If you watch Justin Verlander now, and ever since he got to the Astros, Justin Verlander has a very deliberate and slashing separation of hand and glove. He now forces his hand down. He jams it down and throws it. There's nothing natural about it. He has to consciously, if I just tell you, now throw me the ball, you're just going to take your hand out of the glove and throw it. He jams his hand down. It's a very fast whip-like motion. And that's when he started winning all those games. And that's when he led the league in strikeouts. And that's when he picked up a Cy Young. And that's when he
won a couple of World Series.
Back-to-back World Series. I'm going to be curious to see if Hunter Brown develops a more deliberate separation a la Verlander because they're so similar in form and demeanor.
Frame and
Yeah, they're very, very similar pitchers.
Yeah.
I don't.
It'd be interesting to see the homecoming Verlander gets tonight in Houston.
I think he'll be
he's
loved.
scheduled to play. I do too. There should be no
A
hatred
Hall of
there.
Famer, and he won
Yeah.
2 World Series for you. He left for the money. Kate Upton needed a lift. If Kate Upton needs a bust lift, you better go sign a big contract.
I think Kate Upton just wanted to be seen in and around New York City.
Sure, or California. She'd have gone to the Angels.
Yeah. But Verlander and Fromber tonight. Verlander 2-3, 4.40.
Yeah, he's not having a great year, and he's been hurt.
Started off the year hurt. Yeah.
Frommer's about 500, isn't he? 6-5?
6-5. Yep.
But
But
you
his
know-
ERA has been, almost sub 2.5. That's
Yeah,
pretty weird.
he's a stud.
He just hasn't got a lot of run support at times.
No, and he's a tremendous, tremendous ground ball pitcher.
But
So,
Astros
one
got
of
to
the
get
best.
off the schneid. They're 5 back of the Rangers in the AL West.
Yeah, they're
and-
third.
We're 6.5 back. Our Angels are ahead of them. But here's the problem. At a time when the Rangers were kind of stinking, the Astros stunk. And
Rangers
now
are rolling.
Rangers have won 3 in a row. Astros have lost 5 straight. And the Angels have gone 7-3 in their last 10 to leapfrog the Astros and move into second place.
It's a game of streaks, but
Trout's
they need to have
working.
it. They need to have it right by the All-Star break.
Yeah, I agree. And it all starts with the fact that their pitching just isn't as. I think early on paper it looked good, but then you got 3 guys that are hurt, or 2 pitchers that are hurt, and a big bat that's hurt.
I don't think you'll ever see McCullers pitch again in Houston. I think Lance McCullers is done.
You think?
Yeah. Yeah, I just something's just not there. It wasn't there when he came back, and it's not there when he's hurt. Good morning, Sheriff Louderback.
H.R. Mallory, good morning. Andrew Alvarez checking in.
There's Janie Alvarez.
Howdy. Scott Tomko. Jarrett McCurgan, Kendra Douglas. Jonathan Williams concurs. Astros just stinking it up right now in general.
What you want?
Put 'em
Let's
right
get
there,
them over
yeah,
here.
let's
Y'all
get 'em
come
over
over here, and we'll move a camera. And hang on a second. I'm gonna do some.
Well, here, you do this.
Okay, I'll do this.
Oh, because it's easier for me probably to go over there and do that.
All right, you go do that,
Okay.
and we'll get them here where you can just move this where you want. Oh no, we want you to be good to go. Look at Ash. Ash is moving it. There you go. Yeah, y'all both need to get in.
Unexpected guest.
No, always welcome guests. So tell everybody who you are, what you're doing. Tell us what's going on.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rosemary Bazan. I'm founder of Emmy Signs Foundation.
You got to get right close to that microphone.
Don't be scared
There
of
we
it.
go.
Emmett's never touched it. Get right up against it. It's okay.
Alrighty, is that better?
Yes,
much
ma'am.
better.
Okay. I'm Rosemary Bazan. I'm the founder of Emmy Signs Foundation. And this is Janie Alvarez, my mom.
Good morning, everyone.
That's not really true. And Janie is actually her slightly older sister. Not even close to being
She'll
old
take
enough.
it.
Janie had her when she was 11. It's no big deal. It was very cultural at the
10.
time, right? 10 years old. Sure. How are y'all?
We're doing good this morning.
Tell us the success of the Emmy Signs Foundation this year.
All right. Well, definitely the Sportsman raffle is what saved us this year from making our funds. Our goal is always to raise enough funds to sustain us for the year through all of our projects, our scholarships, of course, operations. So we didn't quite meet that goal, but the Sportsman raffle is definitely last year, again, this year, probably is, again, next year will be our saving grace. So I want
Absolutely.
to say I appreciate everybody that has participated with the Foundation's fundraiser efforts. I want to thank all of our committee members for all of their hard work, because putting on an event like this every year is it's like
a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and it's like planning a wedding in a very short period of time, or a
Sure.
quinceañera, and there's just not enough days sometimes.
All you need is Brother Gary, and you've got a Brother Gary and an accordion, and you've got a quinceañera. That's it.
Well, there you go. And Brother Gary did bless us with his presence.
great.
And he did a wonderful job coming over and
It's not an
speaking.
official event until the brother man shows up.
That's right. Do this for me.
Yes.
Take a second, tell our folks who Emmy Signs is and the impetus of the program and why you do what you do.
Alrighty, I sure can. Emmy Signs was my daughter. She passed away on her 21st birthday that morning of. She was in a car accident on her way to work at Formosa, where she was rear-ended by a vehicle that was traveling in a high rate of speed. That injury caused her, well, that accident caused her to be paralyzed from a cervical fracture. And we were blessed to have her for the next remaining 7 months. And in that time, we had a lot of obstacles that we had to overcome with her. We found some of the flaws in the system during that time where we weren't able to access medical equipment. We weren't able to get a full month's worth of medical supplies that she needed. And just all of these little things that we had a difficult time with, we have incorporated into the foundation as some of our programs that we help with other people experiencing the same difficulties through the system.
Well, we've told people that you help provide everything from canes, walkers, wheelchairs, to scholarships and to handicap ramps for people. The as you folks help bless the foundation has expanded to bless more and more folks. It literally is a pay it forward type arrangement, and you're looking at the folks that do all the legwork. So we appreciate what you do.
Well,
Ash and I are 100% supportive of anything we can ever do. If you decide between now and next year that you want to have some other type of fundraiser, we would love to just be a part of that. Just consider us the promoting arm, and we would love to do it.
Or if you decide, you know what, we're done with y'all, we'll support that too.
Right.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, you said, no, we don't like Wade and Carter anymore. They're done.
We love Wade and Carter. So
Well, we love you, and I really appreciate what you do and have a ton of respect for what you do.
Thank
and
you. Thank
love
you.
your mama. We tolerate Emmett. You know how it is.
Oh, yes.
You know how it is.
And we've expanded to help the pediatric community in this area. 'Cause
Oh, fantastic.
That's not something that we have found. It's very difficult for parents that have small children to be able to come across this equipment. And so we've got our showroom is full of pediatric equipment.
It's really unfair that all I ever remember is 361-212-8888.
Yeah.
But so I just send everybody to Janie. They can find you on Facebook.
They can, yes. You can find me on the Emmy Signs Foundation Facebook page. My number is pretty public by now. It's 361-894-3998. And at any time, we don't have to have an event going on, but at any time, if you're in need of assistance or you know somebody that's in need of assistance, reach out to me. I'll be happy to see what we're able to do through the foundation.
That was going to be my next question. How do folks who need some help get some help? But you just answered it, so thank you for being intuitive this morning.
Well, and anytime y'all want to stop by and give us an update or just stay top of mind, we'd love to have you.
Absolutely. And lastly, I want to present Ash Wade with your letter to claim your prize from the raffle.
Thank you.
And then Brent, how
Did
in
you
the
know?
world
Yeah.
did
Oh,
he
yeah.
accommodate?
Did you know that I've already gone out and visited with Larry Svetlake?
Oh,
the only thing I sent Michael an email. I don't have my blind yet, but I'll get that later. But
Yes.
what a privilege and what a bonus for us. I'm very just beside ourselves to actually win. So
I never win.
I'm going to
I hear that a
plan
lot.
as soon as you know next year's date.
Yes,
I'm going to plan. When is it? June what?
No, next. Well, originally the fundraiser event every year would be in April. We had some difficulties last year getting an April date, so we got pushed all the way back to June. But our next event will be April 27th of 2024. Same place, same time.
Well, we will be there.
Victoria Community Center, April 27th. Mark it on your calendars, folks. And
Yes.
it's a great time. The bands, the food, the hospitality, the dancing.
Well, there's an atmosphere, Ash. Everybody there seems to be having a great time because they all know they're contributing to a great cause. It just, everybody is happy at the Emmy Signs Foundation Gala. It's always a lot of fun.
And we weren't able to get there this year, but last year, I think what really struck me was the number of older folks who came out and enjoyed like a date night for older couples, and they never left the dance floor.
No, they danced
all
all
night. They were dancing all night.
We
It was
had
awesome to watch.
Phenomenal first time startup. Last year was just record-breaking.
was great.
We didn't even anticipate having half that crowd.
Well, we'll make next year bigger than ever.
I really hope so.
Can't wait to see it happen. Our listeners absolutely support what you're doing.
Well, I want to thank everybody out there for all the love and support that y'all show us. And without y'all, without our sponsors, we would not be able to operate and do the things that we're doing today. So a heartfelt thank you to everybody.
You think maybe if Ash and I were really polite, we could put in kind of a request for some air conditioning here from the Emmy Science Foundation?
I'm so glad.
Like a window unit?
Yeah.
It's just a window unit,
Just a window unit.
you know?
I'm so glad I wore shorts today.
Right? Hey, we love you guys and wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
You're awesome.
Janie, Rosemary, thank you all very much for all that you do and for helping the community and turning tragedy into opportunity for those that you know are afflicted by something similar that you know that happened to your daughter and the spinal
And I
cord
do
injuries.
want to add that we expanded. We don't just help now spinal cord injury and traumatic brain injury. We've expanded to just basically offer anybody assistance that is in need. I find that
That's awesome.
If you focus just on those two populations, that we were staying pretty stagnant. You know, we weren't moving. There wasn't a whole lot of help going on, and I didn't want that. I wanted to be able to offer the assistance. So it is basically now anybody that needs assistance. If you need help fighting with the insurance company, give me a call.
Right. You become an expert, don't you?
Yes.
Look at her
yes.
face light up on that.
It's
You
just
need
like,
help
yeah.
fighting the insurance company.
I
Give me a
don't blame
call.
you. You got to fight for what you want.
You do, and it's not fair to our populations, our people, our clients that need, you know, monthly supplies that, you know, the insurance is not sending 100% of what
Yeah.
they'll need
Right.
to get through that month. And Emmy actually had that issue with just some catheters and like, you know, well, she's paralyzed. She can't go to the bathroom traditionally.
Yeah.
And so we need the supplies
And you're scrambling 15 days in because you don't have any more left.
Exactly.
Well,
so I ended up having to take her to the ER for an unnecessary visit just to make sure that we could get a catheter put in.
Yeah.
So,
Well, bless
All
her
right,
heart
thank
and
y'all
bless
so
your
much.
hearts. What a legacy the young lady left at 21 to, if she looks down and smiles nowadays, I'm sure she's quite proud
Thank you.
of y'all carrying on. So great
Thank
job,
y'all.
and we love you.
Appreciate
and we'll
it.
see you soon, okay?
Yes,
Come
thank
back
you.
anytime. Try not to trip over any hardware going out of here.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye. So that was Rosemary Bazan and Janie Alvarez, her mother, older sister, and they are
They are the
heartbeat of the Emmy Science
Absolutely.
Foundation organization we're very proud to be affiliated with.
Catherine Imes checking in. Greg Garcia. Torrin Bales, good morning. Time for our first break.
Tell Billy Imes I said hi, folks. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Allen is your go-to tow-to. You got a towing need, Allen's your guy. On these hot roads, watch out. You'll find, amazingly enough, you'll start throwing tire rubber. Be careful. Be careful on the roads. If you have a problem, call Allen's Wrecker Service. The Gray Barn Design, Gray Barn Mercantile, 920-6803. They're now on Airline, right there between the coffee bar and
Local Pet.
Local Pet. Yeah, you'll love that. They do a great job. She can design flowers. She can help you decorate your next party. You'll be thrilled with Cheryl's work. The Atzenhofer dealerships drove by this morning. Everything's looking neat and fresh. Lots of trucks on the lot. Since 1926, Atzenhofer is Victoria's dealership. Steve Kidder, very busy yesterday. Believe it or not, he worked on Juneteenth. He'll work for you. I was trying to think of something funny to say about Steve. The reality is when you need an attorney, it's not funny.
No.
Call Steve Kidder. Let Steve Kidder help you navigate the tumultuous waters of our legal system. And then, of course, Palace Bingo, June 29th.
That's when we'll be there.
Not this Thursday, but next Thursday.
I can't wait.
That's going to be great.
Gonna be great. Gonna be big.
It's going to be bigger than ever.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and gonna predict that another Wade and Carter listener does win. As I think we're batting like 300. At the worst day,
Yeah, somebody
like
wins.
somebody wins. We're about 3 winners usually.
Oh, yeah,
per
no
10
doubt.
games. We're in pretty good. We've done pretty good while we're there.
And then the VCS companies for all your communication needs, whether it be a ranch radio, a radio for your boat, a CB radio. You need a radio installed in a vehicle.
Citizens Band radio.
Citizens Band, Breaker 19. Meet me on the Lido.
You need a
deck.
Yacht Rock CB radio.
That's channel 15 on Sirius XM Yacht Rock. It's back.
Well,
Greg
the Iceman
Garcia.
says Alan's towed his SUV to the body shop yesterday. Well, we
There you
appreciate our listeners using our sponsors. Thank you.
Yeah. When you use our sponsors, and you all do, you do it all the time. When you use our sponsors, please say, hey, Wade and Carter sent me. We appreciate that very much.
Yeah. So your boy Anthony Blinken just wrapped up a 2-day tour to the CCP.
Time out. How many of you folks even know who Anthony Blinken is? Do you know who Anthony Blinken is? He, along with Joe Biden and John Fetterman, make up the triumvirate of Winken, Blinken, and Nod, which are the three idiots that help run our government. Anthony Blinken is the Secretary of State.
Yeah, we all remember Mike Pompeo and the great job he did as Secretary of State. Anthony Blinken is a moron.
Absolutely.
And he goes over to China for a 2-day visit. I've always wondered how these folks go where they go for a day or two and then
Just
come
a day or
back.
two.
They must have like a Michael Jackson oxygen bubble or
Yeah.
something to get reacclimated and not suffer the jet lag. But anyway, I digress.
Well, he doesn't have
But-
to do anything.
Well, that's
Have
true.
you ever heard his name before this week?
Well, yes, but
Well, that's 'cause you're in tune.
stay attuned to this stuff.
Sure,
But
you're a genius.
he goes over there. It's the first visit to China by a high-ranking U.S. official since 2018, so since the Trump administration. And basically just acquiesces to whatever China wants.
He did meet with Chairman Xi. How do you say that? Xi.
Z.
Z.
I think it's Xi. Xi.
Xi. Wang Huang Xi. China. He did visit with that guy. But what struck me in the article, which I actually read, well, I had it read to me. I'm like, audible. Is that Blinken, quote, the United States does not support an independent Taiwan. He basically said, if China wants to roll down the streets of Taiwan and take over, we ain't going to do nothing about it. It's not our problem, not our fight. This is a complete reversal of even Barack Obama's stance on Taiwan. Free Taiwan. You'll remember that Barack was even a big hitter for Hong Kong, which eventually was given back to the Chinese.
It wasn't under his watch, but
It
was
he
under
was for them
Clinton's watch, wasn't
being
it?
fair, being free.
Yeah.
And he was certainly for Taiwan being
And even
free.
with the assurances that China said, you know what, we're just going to let Hong Kong do what Hong Kong's been doing for the last 100+ years under British rule. Well, we know that's a lie and was a lie.
Well, Greg Garcia sums it up. Blinken was in China groveling before the throne of communism.
Yeah.
Absolutely factual statement and a correct assessment. To go over there, he didn't say the U.S. no longer supports. He didn't say the U.S. has reversed its position on. He just said the United States of America does not support an independent Taiwan. There you have it. Take over, China. They're all yours. That's what he served them up right there to the chairman.
Yeah. I mean, crazy talk. This has been the linchpin in Chinese-U.S. relations. The tension that's been there has really been Taiwan, right?
Sure.
Because for as long as I remember, we've supported an independent Taiwan.
That
Now
is
you
correct.
got Blinken saying the U.S. does not support Taiwan independence anymore. How much money was Blinken and the Bidens given to change that stance? $10 million? That probably seems right, because remember when the whole Biden-China thing came out? We were talking about $1 million, maybe $2. Now we're talking $10 million. How many more millions did it take, or was it the $10 million
Right. Is it a retro deal?
that got the U.S. to change its stance And how much of that money will now funnel Anthony Blinken for going over to China and actually being the guy in the line of fire because Joe Biden is too inept, incoherent, and chicken to actually go and sit in front of Chairman Xi?
Well, and that's the interesting thing is
He probably couldn't do it because he'd have to kiss the ring and there'd be pictures and I mean it's like
They're
going to meet
giving
with
it away.
it's like going to meet with the mafia don on Sundays and asking for a favor that weekend. That's what it would have been like. So he sends Blinken to go do all his dirty work because he just can't do it.
James Kurth, who served, says, what the heck? Who is he to make this unilateral call? He's not. My guess is honestly that this probably came from the Barack-driven administration of Joe Biden. So here's a great example of.
And the other interesting piece to all this, at the same time he's over there, Bill Gates just happens to pop by, and he's meeting with Chinese leaders on artificial intelligence on behalf of Microsoft. He gave up the day-to-day on Microsoft long ago.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, he's interested. Now, what could possibly happen with Bill Gates meeting with China on this, right? Does China want to see what they're missing with their AI? Or what we're missing with ours?
Or is Bill Gates just using his considerable influence to go line his own pockets by cutting a deal with China over some type of AI technology? I don't know. I don't fault him for that.
I don't fault him for that, but I'm pretty sure the Chinese are probably trying to figure out where their shortfalls are or if they're better than our AI in this country. Don't forget, the Chinese Communist Party send their best and brightest students to the United States. So to think that Bill Gates actually has to meet with China to discuss AI.
Yeah. Their best scientists are here.
Their best everything is over here learning at Harvard and Yale and
sleeping with our congressman.
Well, that too.
Did you see J Dub?
Morning, J Dub.
There's Brent Anderson. Good morning, Zip.
Yeah.
So what you really have to
purely
gather from
coincidental that Gates and Blinken are in China at the same time? Yeah, I don't believe in coincidences at that level.
The key takeaway for me, third attempt here, and shame on me, but the third attempt to correctly state the takeaway from what happened in China is that the United States is no longer the last Minuteman, if you will, guarding countries that yearn to be free. There was a time when, I'll tell you what's next. They're going to turn their back on Israel. That's what's next. It's going to happen. Well, those poor Palestinians. Oh, okay. The United States has always been the one that said, hey, these people want to have a democracy. These people want to operate in a free world. We've got their back. And we've always had Taiwan's back. Did this make your news? Wasn't on our news broadcast last night. Found it hidden, tucked away in an article. But with direct quotations to Secretary of State Blinken.
Yeah. And what's interesting, when I searched it up this morning, the leading source on Google, the first place that popped up, the New York Post. The New York Post, which was tabloid
humor.
But ever since breaking the Hunter Biden laptop story has kind of become legit.
They're legit.
And seem to be good at breaking every news article or item that the mainstream media ignores because they want to help the Bidens and the Democrats and the leftists and the socialists that make up the leadership of the Democrat Party. Why the heck Democrats... Your centrist Democrats haven't fled the party at least to become independents is beyond me, because this party no longer recognizes and relates to what was traditionally its base. They are hardcore Marxists and socialists, and until the people that support the party wake up, and when they do, it might be too late. Side note, Barack Obama, who's been silent for much of the Joe Biden administration, yesterday comes out and supports digital passports or identification at banks to do your banking. If your bank ever asks you to produce a fingerprint so that you can take your money out, run to the First State Bank of Louise. The friendliest little bank anywhere. This isn't about gaining access or securing your assets. This is about controlling your movements and keeping an eye on you. It's what the government wants. It's what the government ultimately desires, and that is for complete control of not just us in this country, but around the world. We talked about it before vacation, the World Health Organization trying to get their vaccine passports and medical passports so that you can't travel anywhere without making sure you've got all your shots, comrade.
I just got this. You may have seen it in East Texas last week, Thursday. There was a bad storm, and over 200,000 people now in East Texas are without power. In this heat and that East Texas humidity, now is a great time if you live in East Texas to go on vacation.
Or to call Went Services. I'm sure Went would supply a backup generator.
That's right. Reach out to Went Services. Let them provide you with a backup generator, 24 kW. Supply the whole house for under $6,000. You can negotiate your own installation. USA Concrete Coating, 578 Home. Charlie Garcia will come in, put down a tough as nails polyurethane coat that won't
crack, peel, sticker fade.
There you go. And it's always done right.
And while he's doing your garage floor, he could do the pad that you're going to set your
new
generator on from Went Services.
And White Trash Services, 550-1826.
I thought BJ wanted a number to call in to make a white trash announcement. So now, BJ, 361-894-4020 is the number to call.
That'd be fantastic. 894-4020. White Trash Services offering weekly pickup, dumpsters, roll-off dumpsters, demolition services. You got an old building you need torn down, they'll do it.
Be small, Ashton. We have AC today. No more than yesterday, but we've got lots of fans going.
Yeah, we do have fans.
Yeah. Good morning, Jim Hartman.
The only fans we have are the fans here in the
trying to keep us.
Everybody else is an associate.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's keeping us cool, but it's certainly it's enough to sort of evaporate the sweat.
Hats off to Be Small and the Texas Rangers. Now 45 wins, playing very, very well. Jim Hartman talking in code. He just put the letter G.
That's all he needs.
That means good morning, gentlemen.
Rena Scherer, good morning from the Frio. We're huge in the Frio this morning.
There you go, Rena.
How's the river levels? Are they up? Is there a good flow at the Frio?
They give you a tourist trickle is what we call it. You go in and it's it's ankle deep. By lunchtime when everybody's peeing beer, it's about waist deep.
Scott Tomko, to think about everyone jetting all over the world while touting how we need to reduce emissions for a greener planet.
Yeah, like Chi couldn't do like a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Think about it, folks.
Well, now they're saying by 2030 we're going to be without certain reserves again. I mean, it's just crazy sort of stuff. Let's see if I can bring up.
Lilo, take your unit back, buddy. We stole your AC this morning. Take it back over there. Slide it back.
See if this will play. Let me bring this up.
See what you got.
This is your president, folks.
See if you can get it to.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Oh man, this guy.
Yeah. I got to bring it back. Pause it. Here we go. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is
your
yesterday.
president.
This is your president, folks.
And maybe most important, I've committed that by 2020, we will have conserved 30% of all the lands and waters the United States has jurisdiction over and simultaneously reduce emissions to blunt climate impact.
So is it really by 2030 we'll preserve 20%, or is it 2020, which was 3 years ago, people?
Yeah.
By 2020, we will preserve 30% of the lands in this country.
And okay, I get it. People misspeak. He misspeaks all the time. And here's how you know that they're trying to hide something. Go back to Gerald Ford. Chevy Chase made a living making fun on Saturday Night Live of Gerald Ford's
falling down,
blunders and clumsiness.
Stumbling, bumbling, fumbling.
On Saturday Night Live. Dana Carvey did George H.W.
Not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent. Remember that? He was so good.
Daryl Hammond, I think, did a very good Bill Clinton. We've had guys that did Ronald Reagan. We've had others. I think Will Ferrell, I think, did he do George W?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
W. Farrell did W.
They've had guys that
Can't do Biden.
Mocked and characterized Barack Obama. Nobody has touched Joe Biden because you can't make fun of somebody who has serious mental deficiencies that Joe Biden has.
Right.
It's funny if it's just you're a clumsy idiot.
Yeah, but if you're truly an idiot, you can't make fun of him.
No.
Because that's disrespectful.
Yeah. So, how about this submersible?
Yeah, Lisa Poole brought it up. We already had it on the list, Lisa. In fact, it's on the front at the beginning of the show.
We just hadn't quite gotten there yet.
Yeah, give us a break. It's Tuesday. Yeah, so here's the scene, folks. You remember just a couple of years ago, it was a big deal when they took a multi-million-dollar unmanned submersible, known as a submarine, down and got some little artifacts off of the Titanic. Went in and out of the ship and looked at all there's still unbroken china on the ground, blah, blah, blah. Some enterprising young gentleman with a cylinder decided that for $250,000, they'd take you out in the middle of the Atlantic, put you inside that, and take you down and let you see the Titanic for yourself.
And I believe alongside them, or one of their companion vessels, is a Canadian Coast Guard ship. Because the Canadian Coast Guard is so hurting for money, they're now, I guess...
And the expedition's out of Canada. And now they haven't been seen in 2 days.
No.
Nobody knows where they are. They disappeared.
A pilot that worked for the company, and I believe a 4-person crew of mission specialists, I think they called them.
Mission specialist.
Basically, if you have anywhere from about $250,000 lying around, you can become a mission specialist as well. It's the opposite of the space tourism that Elon Musk is trying to do, right? This is
Correct.
deep sea tourism. You have to have a lot of money to go down there. I've seen this thing.
It looks like a propane tank.
If I had $250,000, I'm not getting on that thing. I don't care.
Can you imagine that husband? She said she wanted to go. Hope you're happy, Linda. Here we go to the bottom of the sea. I imagine they got down there, the thing collapsed, and it just sunk to the bottom.
They lost contact with it, about 45 minutes into its trek?
So they were calling it a search and rescue mission. And that's what they call it before they call it a recovery mission, which means they now assume those folks to be dead. And since you're inside a pressurized vessel with limited oxygen, those folks are dead. They're gone.
Steve Kidder says, were they on the SS Minnow?
Feels like Peter McNally chimes in. What is Peter going to say about the press?
The press has always made fun of misspeak. Speak of subjects with substance.
Pete, it's okay for you to throw in your comment, but don't tell us what to talk about. We're going to talk about you. You got another year older the other day, and we never get birthday wishes on this program. But happy birthday. That's happy birthday, Pete.
Happy birthday, Pete.
I don't understand.
I don't understand.
The press has always talked about misspeaks. They don't talk about Biden. That's the point. That's the whole point. Saturday Night Live doesn't have a designated guy to go, hey, folks, there's the 3 things. The 1, that's the thing. Then there's the 2 thing. And, Purple Waves of Grain, you all know the song. Come on, let's just go.
I don't recall
Where's
seeing
Hunter?
any clips of anybody poking fun of Joe Biden falling off the bike.
No. We
did
it.
Falling up the stairs.
We did it.
3 times.
Yeah, he's a klutz.
But, boy, they made fun of Donald Trump wearing dress shoes and walking gingerly down a slippery ramp. Oh, look, he's old. He's decrepit. We've got to invoke the 25th.
It's a spin mode
he can't do
the
it.
Democrats live by. The hypocritic
But it's
spin mode.
It's not a misspeak to say it's 2020 when you constantly do it. There's a cognitive deficiency with our president that the leftist media will not admit and Joe Biden's family will not admit, because if they do, the Chinese money well dries up.
Did you see Brian Small pointed out that Biden no longer goes up the tall steps? Honestly, they drop down the ramp, and he goes up the ramp where they park the Beast and the travel vehicles. He goes up the ramp, the loading ramp on the bottom of the plane.
Yeah, they had about 96 hours worth of oxygen on that submersible. I hope they find everybody, and I hope they find them alive.
I do too, and I ain't counting on it.
It took that long. The Titanic settled at 12,500 feet below the surface.
Yeah.
This submersible apparently good to about 15,000 feet. I wonder if they miscalculated where they were somehow and they dropped below.
They should have been able to come right back.
Something happened. Probably a failure of its guidance system or the engines, or maybe both. And if it's that, you hope there's enough oxygen and it's still pumping and doing everything it needs to do.
Should be able to find them on some type of radar, which with the Coast Guard being out there.
As deep as it is.
I don't know.
And you're 900 miles off Cape Cod, I believe, and outside of St. John's. And you're in cold, dark, murky waters. Probably are some icebergs in the area that you've got to avoid.
A 3-hour tour. But there aren't icebergs at 12,000 feet, so you're okay there.
Well, they go down a little bit. It's cold down there.
Ice floats, Ash.
Ice is always at the bottom of your glass, cold.
Oh,
colder than the top of the glass.
An empty
It's my science minute.
Glass. Cigarette.
Kelly Farami says everyone does it for sure, misspeaks, but not every time one speaks.
Yeah, Biden
one
can't
should be
complete a
concerned that the
sentence.
leader of the free world is so addled. Here's the thing, Callie. You say the leader of the free world.
He's not. We're not. We're not the leaders
Under
of the
this
free
administration, we are no longer the leader of the free world. I'm questioning whether or not there even is a free world anymore.
We're not respected. We're certainly not feared.
Every country has capitulated to the World Health Organization. We're more and more beholden to China, we as the Western civilization, because they hold all of our debt. They're the country that put the 5G technology and soon to be 10G technology all through Europe, because companies like Nokia and others that were leading the way. Remember the cell phone industry at the start? You had BlackBerry, you had Motorola, you had Nokia. All these companies that were out of countries other than China led the way. Then they made stupid gambles. They had to get China to buy their debt. China now owns them if they didn't go bankrupt. So now about the only companies that can do all this stuff is Huawei, which by the Huawei aren't allowed in the United States.
Oh, by the Huawei. You know why? Because they're known to be spy instruments. Question for you on an aside, one of our asides that we're privileged to do because, it's our show.
It's our show.
I would say reverence. You can revere someone. That can be love-based, right? Isn't all respect to some degree and some level fear-based? Fear of consequence, fear of retribution, fear of retaliation, fear of respect. Can you respect that which you don't fear a little bit? Like, better give Barkley his props because he will rock your head.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, when I look at world governments and I say that I don't feel the United States, nobody fears Joe Biden. He just told you straight up, we no longer support an independent Taiwan. Hey, China, take them over. We don't care. They'll own them by Christmas. How do you respect that which you have no fear of? And Joe Biden he's a beta. He's done.
He's owned and beholden.
And I go back to my Democrat friends, and I don't understand why. I remember having to admit that there was a period of time late in his second term when Ronald Reagan was addled a lot. He was. He made fewer and fewer public appearances. We found out later that he had dementia. That doesn't offend me as a Republican. It doesn't make me think that Ronald Reagan was weak because he owned it. He wrote a letter and owned it. Anybody who wants to say there's nothing wrong with Joe, that's just politics, their head is in the sand. Joe Biden has mental capacity limitations.
Physical capacity limitations as well.
There's no getting around. His motor skills have deteriorated. And they keep, I mean, it's bless his heart. It's like Weekend at Bernie's. They keep putting him on a bike. Joe, all you have to do is coast to the bottom of the hill, put on the brakes, put your feet down. You'll look like Vlad Putin on the horse with no shirt. Yeah. What does Joe do?
They didn't allow the media up the bike path to see him riding the bike because, as we found out, there was no bike ride.
Right.
They planted him up there and just said, go down.
Absolutely. And the videos, everybody's video started about 10 seconds before the fall.
Yeah.
He, honest to goodness, rode the bike 50 yards. Joe, just ride to the bottom, put on the brakes. You've got your helmet on. You've got your aviator shades on. You look great. And just go, hey, just out for a ride with my guys, staying fit for the American people. What does he do? He eats it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Air Force graduation. Who put that sandbag there? I don't know, Joe. Look down before you walk. Moron.
Everybody else does because they're trying to find a dollar.
Nobody else fell. You just can't defend it. At some point, you're going to go, well, and I mean, I would be content if the Democrats said, yeah, he's got some issues, but he's better than Trump. Tell me that. But don't tell me, oh, that's just politics. You people are just being hard on him. Poor old Joe. Leave him alone.
Stephen Kidder says in any other context, it's elder abuse.
That's exactly what it is,
If
Stephen.
not abuse, neglect.
Absolutely. It's like running Elvis out onto the stage, giving him an adrenaline shot, pumping him full of, barbiturates, and running him out on the stage because you need the money.
Oh, wait, they did that.
They did that. They should have taken him to rehab and let him write a diet book, but they didn't. They just kept pimping him out until he died.
God save the queen, though. Yeah, that's the other thing. He forgot that there was no longer a queen. And I'll give him a pass on that one.
Yeah, well, that's an easy thing. All his life there's been a queen.
Yeah.
But still, you're right. His life is scripted.
Well, and not only that, you're the head of state for the United States.
By the way, he didn't go to her funeral.
No, you should know. I could give him a pass if it was you or me. Or somebody. But you're the head of the state. You're the head of the United States. And you forgot that England is now ruled by a king. Anybody else I'd give a pass because for all your life it has been a queen.
Well, I don't understand. I don't think that anybody in this administration has yet gone and visited with King Charles. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but I don't think they have.
I don't know.
I haven't heard of a state dinner or a visit with the first wench. What's her name? Camilla.
Camilla? I don't think she's as bad as people.
I don't either. Bless her heart. She
loved the guy.
She was his dope smoking buddy back in the day.
I mean, think about it.
Free love.
Two very, very awkward looking, privileged people in England.
Yeah, she had tons of money.
Fell in love.
Not his kind of money.
And the royals didn't want it because
they made him marry Diana.
Because if not for an arranged marriage, there's no way in hell Charles is getting something that's that hot. Let's be honest.
And he's not going to marry a kindergarten teacher with no, with no lineage. Uh-huh.
He did.
I know he did, but he wouldn't have done that without the arrangement.
So any pure coincidence that Joe Biden's going to discuss artificial intelligence this afternoon after Bill Gates goes to China and discusses artificial intelligence?
He got briefed.
Got debriefed on that
Artificial intelligence is all Joe has. It's whatever on the teleprompter.
Yeah. Oh, let's take our final break, and then we'll get into some more depressing stuff that that's where I'm going with it, because it's just telling you where the world's headed, folks.
Folks, Chesnick Furniture, tell you where the world's heading right now is down to Chesnick Furniture, 106 West Wanland, the corner of Wanland and Bridge.
If not, they need to.
Yeah, you should. For over 100 years, Chesnick Furniture, Bobby Leon and his family have provided you, yours, your grandparents, their parents, get over to Chestnut. Let them show you why Chestnut and Love make your house a home, and you just always do better at Chestnut. Today's Pre-Caldo Tuesday. Get into Veracruz today. Order you a steaming hot plate of the best Tex-Mex in town. I don't care if they call it Jalisco, Ash. It's the best Tex-Mex
it's really
in
good.
town.
My favorite.
Don't tell Dawn, but their flour tortillas are just off the chain.
So you've heard.
They're so good. I've been told. AJ's Detailing. Take that new vehicle, that lightly used vehicle, that vehicle that's starting to show some oxidation. Let AJ put a buff on
A
it.
tractor, your ATV for hunting season, get it all,
Absolutely.
get it ready to go.
And he'll put a ceramic coat on the paint, protects it from UV. It's wax on steroids.
Get your ATV ready for the July 4th parades that are coming up.
Absolutely. And then our favorite, Armor Air, 579-0966. Reach out to those folks.
They do a great job.
They do a
They've
great
done
job.
work for me. They're professional, courteous.
Reasonable.
They like wipe their feet before they come in the house, even though there's nothing on their feet.
When they make a sandwich, they put the stuff back up. You know, they just come in. You need anything? No,
They ask-
I'm good. And they open
they
the
ask
fridge.
if you want one, too.
Yeah, they'll make you a sandwich.
That was awesome.
I'll give you half. Great folks, Armor Air, 579-0966. Tell me about China right
Yeah,
there. Wall
so-
Street Journal.
You know, Democrats loved when JFK stood up to the mighty Russians wanting to put missiles in Cuba.
Right?
You know, nuclear tipped missiles in Cuba.
And nuclear. Any advance by Cuba against any nation will be considered an advance by Russia against the United States.
Now you've got intelligence reports saying that the Chinese are stationing troops in Cuba and are working to establish a new joint military training facility on the island.
There you go. To
Now,
show them how
why
to invade.
would they want to do that?
Well, it's the same atmosphere as when you invade Florida.
Top that off with the fact that they are now building deep water ports in countries like Peru that, under the guise of allowing for better ship traffic and in the interest of helping Peru's economy, oh, by the way, they can also allow for the biggest of Chinese warships to dock there as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this Democrat? Can you imagine Joe Biden saying, any Chinese warship enters a port in Cuba, we're going to sink it? That's what John F. Kennedy would have said. It is. It's what Ronald Reagan would have said. Joe Biden's like, come on over, man. Can you bring some chips for them Escalades?
And the Wall Street Journal reporting that Europe aims to cut China's risks, not China ties. So they're concerned about the Chinese economy, so they're trying to protect their assets and manage their risk, but they're not at all concerned about cutting ties to China and the control China has, because what could possibly go wrong when China
Right.
owns your 5G network for cellular service?
All they have to do is flip a switch. We have no 5G network.
Yep.
I'll ask you this question. Do you think it's even possible that China would install a 5G network here and not have a way to disrupt it from a satellite?
Absolutely not.
There you go.
B. Small says maybe Cuba and Peru need a good Chinese buffet.
Well, I tell you what, I bet you they have one.
Adam Sugar says, anyone heard from Keno since becoming commish? Is he doing okay? Ran into him a couple of times.
So Peter McNally says that MSNBC reports Trump continues to incriminate himself with last night's interview on Fox.
I don't know that I'd go so far as incriminate, but Trump certainly could probably help himself by just shutting up for a little bit and letting things play out. He's not. I can't imagine, and Steve Kidder chime in, but I can't imagine he's helping his defense.
Oh, his
with any
lawyers
of these
cringe
appearances.
every time he
Yeah.
sees a microphone. But I still keep coming back to, and this
But
is
it is.
different-
But yeah, he was on Fox, but it is an MSNBC report, so I question how straight up it is coming off MSNBC. But yeah, there are some other things that Trump didn't do himself any favors by appearing on Fox.
Let me ask you
yesterday.
this, though.
And Fox is now going full-blown leftist. So
Yeah, they are.
It's not the ally that it was.
It's all about making money. So my question to you would be, as a Republican, I don't think you and I have any problem arresting Donald Trump if Donald Trump did something wrong. Just as we had no problem arresting the trespassers on Insurrection Day. The problem I've got is with the hypocrisy. An educated man like Peter McNally seizes on that. Trump's a crook. Trump's going to prison. Trump's going to die in jail. He's an old man. He's a prisoner. He's going to be a bad guy forever. But they've got no problem, none at all, with Hunter Biden being in Belarus or Hunter Biden being with Burisma. They've got no problem with Joe Biden having documents in the back seat of his Corvette. They've got no problem with any of that. They don't say, the Democrats never meet you in the middle and say, arrest them all, they're all crooks. Doesn't happen, ever.
No, because they're all crooked.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Because to the Democrats, all the way to the bastardization of the United States Constitution, the ends justify the means. Hillary killed Vince Foster, no problem. Hillary burned 30,000 emails, that's fine, protected the movement.
Sledgehammered a bunch of servers.
Benghazi, let people die in Benghazi, that's fine. She was Secretary of State. We couldn't let anybody know the Marines were there, as if they didn't know the Marines were there. On and on and on.
Oh, there's a double standard for sure.
There's no doubt. And I just wish that there was a Democrat out there with the chutzpah to say, you're dang right there's a double standard because you Republicans are idiots and we're going the right direction and we're at war. And this is what it takes to win a war. But they don't. They go, no. Joe didn't do anything wrong. Hunter's a great kid. What about that Ashton kid that, what's his name? Ashton Kutcher, that's Donald Trump's son-in-law?
No, I can't remember now.
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher.
No, that's the actor.
I know. Be better if Mila, yeah, if she was in the White House, that'd be something good.
Peter, Biden and Pence gave theirs back.
So did Trump.
Biden didn't give them back until they were discovered. He sat on them.
He didn't even know he had them.
Bull crap. You can't tell me they're sitting in the garage next to the Corvette and he had no clue what was in those boxes. But we believe.
He probably didn't.
Well, he might not have. But we believe the fact. Well, I didn't know those were there. I didn't know what was in them. Really?
Trump had them categorized and cataloged and said, this is what's here. I believe it's mine to hold. And, oh, by the way, as president, when I moved them here, and I want to know what it is. I mean, is it like the nuclear codes? I mean, what are we really arguing about?
Well, we can't tell you because they're classified.
I would have to kill you.
But they've never.
Yeah, B. Small adds Hillary didn't give nothing back.
No, the justice and Joe Biden was just a vice president
Should've
and a
never had
senator when he
never
took
had
those.
him.
Never should have had them.
That's right. But don't, because you're making sense, and there is no sense to be made. By the way, there is no sense to be made. It's a good time to wrap up today's program,
so.
probably. Folks, we love you guys.
We try to make sense of the senseless, and it's getting harder and harder every day, I'll be honest.
You have to kind of use a little list. You say, senseless. Go have a good day. Astros play the Mets tonight. First State Bank.
Verlander
chimed in.
should be a good one.
Verlander, Fromber. Nice game to watch. Be Small. Hats off to the Rangers.
I agree, Peter. Wait till
hot.
the trial begins. But the problem is he's already been tried.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
not. There's
He's
no
guilty,
way
Pete.
you're going to find a jury.
In New York?
No.
There ain't no. They hate him in New York.
They hate him. They didn't until he became a Republican.
Yeah,
they
they
loved
him when he was a Democrat.
But the fact that the media has already basically called him guilty, just based on the indictment, that alone tells me he'll never get a fair trial.
He'll never get a fair trial.
Because the jury pool will be filled with tainted folks who believe everything the leftist media spews to them.
Hey, tune in tomorrow. Ash won't be here. Hopefully I can find somebody smart. Otherwise, we're doomed. But we're doomed together.
Bye, folks.
Bye, folks.